What up, everybody? Hello. Welcome to Uncle Jamie's College Football Locks of the Week. Just remember, like and subscribe to 97.5 The Fanatic on YouTube. We've had a lot of people tuning in for Uncle Jamie's College Football Locks of the Week. Comment on the episode, give a like, get a subscribe, so more people out there can find us and watch us as you are doing right now. Make sure you subscribe to me. My name is John Marks, your host, across all platforms, at John, Jon Marks, M-A-R-K-S Media, at John Marks Media, as we welcome in the man himself, Uncle Jamie from Uncle Jamie's College Football Locks of the Week. Uncle Jamie.
Representing today. 30 years since I graduated, 31 years since I graduated from Temple University. So representing today, the alma mater.
You know, I have my 30-year high school reunion this weekend.
Oh, wow.
But it's not really because I redshirted my junior year in high school.
Yeah,
so it should have been 31, but it's officially my 30-year anniversary.
Yep.
And I have zero desire to go to it, and I'm probably not. But we're
Upper Moreland Strong will be looking for you. Well, former Grand Marshal of the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Yeah, I was tipped off to my buddies called me. They're like, "You're going, right?" And I'm like, "Huh? We're gonna call in the radio show and make sure you go." So I'm like, "All right, sure, I'll go." All right, we'll see. All right, so here's the format of the show. If you haven't watched it before, we talk college football for 10 minutes, and then Uncle Jamie gets his college football locks of the week. 3 games, his locks. So we do that on the back end of the show. But I guess the lead here, because we are in the Philadelphia area, and there's a lot of Penn State fans that are around. The lead continues to be the Penn State coaching search. And some weeks, for a while, it felt like it was going to be Matt Rule. Then he signs the extension. Then Brian Hartline was the big name out of Ohio State. Maybe he still is the guy, but they're waiting till after the season. Now you're hearing some other names. So what is your feel for this week, Jamie, as far as what Penn State is doing?
Yeah, it's just nonstop Penn State chatter out there. You know, you go on the message boards on Facebook, you see it all over, just angling who's going to be that next coach. You know, even on the college football preview tonight, Kevin Connors was talking Penn State coaching. This will be only the 5th coach since 1967 at Penn State. I mean, when you think about that, and how many other teams and how many other universities have gone through coaches, so it's a big deal, especially here in Pennsylvania. So I've heard University of Vanderbilt. Clark Lee, that coach is now being mentioned. The head coach down in Missouri, Eli Drinkowitz, being mentioned for this. So, like you said, Hartline, still I think where I see on message boards and I see on a lot of chatter that they're just waiting for this Ohio State run to end this year and see if they can poach him. I think that would probably be the natural fit. You haven't heard anything from Pat Kraft. You haven't heard anything from administration. So that would tend to lead to that they're going to be waiting for a guy like Hartline is what's going to happen. Yeah,
I would agree with you. And I like Drinkowitz, but he's done a good job at Missouri. Is that really a Penn State hire? So Jimmy, let me ask you this. When you're examining and you're looking at who you would bring in, because I've heard a lot of the chatter. I've talked to some Penn State fans out there. And are you looking for a coach that, like you had said, 5 coaches since the 60s? Are you looking for a coach that is going to be here for 10 years, for 15 years? I don't know if that exists anymore in modern college football. It'd be great if you could hire a guy and you'd say, all right, like he's here for 10, 15 years. You almost have to look at this in 5-year windows, right?
Yeah,
and Hartline may be the guy that comes in and he's this young stud and you hope he's here for a long time, but I don't think you can, when you're hiring for any job in college football anymore, I don't think you can look at it too long term. Unfortunately, like you have the Temple shirt on right there. Temple's a university that the minute they get a good coach, he's gone. Even if they're not that good. Look at the Jeff Collins who went to Georgia Tech. Look at the idiot that went to Boston College, Steve Adazio. I hated him. Look at Al Golden. Look at Matt Rule. Penn State's not like that, but still, they're not LSU, and they're not some of the tier 1 programs.
Yeah, it's interesting. NIL, how has that changed the landscape of college football? I mean, it's changed it, on its face. It's become essentially, as you well know, the minor leagues of professional football in regards of how the money is being distributed and such. It's truly a pro league at this point. And as you well know, in the NFL, these pro coaches, I mean, at best, take out the Andy Reids and Tomlins. What, 5, 6 years, 5, 7 years? If you get a really good run going, you're going to be saying the same thing in college football. Why do you think there's been so many terminations during the season?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been unprecedented because the amount of money that is involved through the NIL collectives and the amount of pressure to win on these university athletic directors and forget about just about the athletic directors, the presidents are fully involved in the regards of these colossal, beautiful stadiums that they're all redoing, putting in luxury boxes. I mean, it's like the NFL.
It is.
Coming to college football and how it's being treated. As you said last week, general managers for all these big programs. It's truly pro football with younger kids playing. When you're talking 18, 19-year-olds as opposed to, 21, 22-year-olds by the time they get to the NFL. It's not really that big of a chasm. But the amount of money and facilities and capacity that they're building for these programs is truly astounding. So that's why there's so much pressure on these coaches. So to your point for Penn State, do I see a coach that's going to be a Paterno or be a James Franklin again or those type? It's more likely you're going to get a 5-year window coach, 6-year window coach, and then you're going to move on again. That's the way this is looking.
Yep. Knee-jerk reactions. You could have a good year and be gone the next year.
Yeah.
James Franklin was he was in the college football semifinals last year. They were a field goal. Notre Dame kicks the field goal. They're that close to going, and then he's gone this year.
Gone in half the year, right?
Yeah,
amazing.
Half a year. And they don't mind writing these $50 million checks if they have to move on from them, which is crazy as well.
Certainly not. The programs are it's just amazing in regards of how much focus now is on these programs and how much there was always money, but how now the money is being directed directly to these kids and how it's just become essentially free agency and and you're seeing free agency in coaching.
Yeah.
It's the dynamic has in the last 5 years has turned on its head.
All right. We'll talk about the college football ranks in a second, but since we were talking about buyouts, Brian Kelly gets whacked from LSU. And now they're trying to not pay him the money that he's owed per his contract, which is $54 million.
Yeah.
And Brian Kelly's like, I'll just sue you.
Yeah.
And so you get the word out there that they're trying to fire him for cause. That was the latest thing.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, you're firing him because you didn't like the way he was coaching, I guess. That's not really firing for cause. You fired him for football reasons. So Kelly's going to sue him. And LSU's just hoping that they're going to be able to put the thumb on the deli scale and not have to pay him as much money. We'll see how it ends up working out. But you just can't fire a guy because you don't like him anymore and not pay him. And Kelly's going to get his money one way or another.
Yeah, they Scott Woodward, the former athletic director, that got pushed out by the governor of Louisiana. As crazy all of this sounds, he even said at the time he was firing him for football reasons. At the time of the buyout, he offered him $25 million clear. Brian Kelly said, go pound sand. I'm not taking anything less than what I'm owed. And then you have a political narrative being woven that this was a terrible contract, should have never been given to him, and he's being fired for some cause that's yet to be defined. I mean, you can see the Brian Kelly's attorney salivating at the at the prospect of this, because not only does he get his buyout if they sue him, they'll also sue for penalty. So you got an expanding thing here. Texas A&M, when they filed Jimbo over $70 million, they didn't want him anymore. He wasn't winning. They fired him. They said, don't worry about it. We got big oil money. We'll pay off the payoff and on to the next coach. So two different ways that big buyouts have been handled.
I bet.
Interestingly, I saw James Franklin. Obviously took the Virginia Tech coach job. He already has been criticized by Penn State alumni for recruiting his recruits that were going to Penn State next year. I mean, what do you expect the guy to do?
It's crazy, and I can imagine the governor of Louisiana is probably having them go through Brian Kelly's emails and cell phone records. Can they find anything? Can they find a needle in a haystack? There you go, inappropriate email. It's John Gruden. This guy, Get him the hell out.
Exactly. All to lessen the amount of the buyout. So, just crazy stuff with the money, the political pressure. This goes to show you what college football is nowadays.
Yeah. So the latest rankings come out for the college football playoff, and everything's with a caveat if you see the rankings, because obviously you get automatic bids that are in there. But what was your reaction to the latest college football rankings?
My reaction was, of course, doing my favorite thing I get to do on Tuesday afternoon, which is listen to Lane Kiffin's press conference. Because there's always ample messaging going on in this press conference. And this past press conference, he decided that he was going to take on the college football playoff and do a precursor to what he thought was going to happen, which was what happened was that Texas A&M was ranked third behind Indiana and Ohio State. And Lane is not a proponent of the toughness of the Big Ten schedule, and a big proponent of how difficult it is to win in the SEC, and was building Texas A&M up as the consensus number one when you talk to SEC coaches, as he said.
Yep, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama. So they would all get the buys, and then 5 Georgia, Texas Tech. Very impressive win last week. Dominated BYU. BYU still remains in it, but would not make it because of the automatic. They're ranked 12th, but they wouldn't make it. Oklahoma, it makes the top, but they're the first team out because of the automatic bids. BYU out. Miami needs to win the ACC to get in.
Yes.
As of right now, you would have South Florida, Georgia. They would play Alabama. The winner of that would play Alabama. Notre Dame, Oregon would play Ohio State. Miami, Texas Tech. They would play Texas A&M. And Texas Ole Miss would play Indiana, who struggled to beat Penn State last week, Indiana. So that was kind of a trap game for them, but they got the win. Give them credit.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting how it's lining up here with a couple games to go.
But it's I think like last year, I think you got to really. I think Notre Dame's going to get into that playoff for sure, if you didn't mention them. But I think I think like last year, I think you really have a case of the have and the have-nots, and I think you'll see it in the first rounds where these dominant teams that didn't get the bye are just going to plow through the first games.
Georgia, South Florida
last year, I mean that's just just when you match up against an SEC team, against a South Florida team. I mean, on paper you can make a case, but when they get on the field. Bigger, stronger, faster. Forget it. There was a great photo. I don't know if you saw it after the Eagles-Packers game of the 2021 Georgia Bulldog defense. There were 11 guys on the field between the Eagles and the Packers who played on that championship defense. 11 players from one team.
Remember, it's funny how fans used to complain and say about Howie Roseman, "Yo, Howie, just draft everybody from Alabama, draft everybody from Georgia." So he did it, and look what happened. He's got studs on defense. It's crazy. One of the great things about you having the job that you have in sports media, and especially in Philadelphia, is that, as you well know, John Middleton listens to fan reaction. Howie Roseman listens to fan reaction. Keith Jones, now the president of the Flyers, they listen to fan reaction. I don't think Daryl Morey, I don't think he listens to anything but God knows that. Maybe he should. He's listening to the podcast.
That's probably what he's listening to.
Podcast.
But truly, these fan reactions and these fan feelings really, they do affect, they really do affect Philadelphia sports on a large sense. Yeah.
They sure do. Texas Ole Miss, as it would stand right now, that would be a good game.
Oh.
That would be a game. Lane Kiffin against Sark.
I mean, you're talking the two prime play callers back to back for championship teams for Alabama. Yeah. I mean, with Nick Saban. So it's just I can't even wait for that game. I'm excited now, just the prospect of that kind of game.
Texas spectacular. Texas Tech against Texas A&M. If Texas Tech makes it advances, that'd be a hell of a game too.
Right.
Pretty big for the state of Texas.
Oh my goodness. Lubbock, Texas has always been, the junior to Texas A&M. Them being able to play A&M in a big game like that in the state of Texas. Are you kidding me? How big that game is? Whoa. Be unbelievable. Absolutely.
All right, let's get to the locks. Before we do that, Uncle Jamie comes to us courtesy of Central City Toyota. So it's not, is it Toyota-thon yet? I keep asking you, is it there yet?
November 21st, Toyota-thon officially has begun. So we are a few days away. So the rates are out. Financing rates are great if you're looking to buy a new or used car. We're once again doing our buy three, get one free tire deal down in our service department. A lot of great parts and accessories that Toyota's pushing for the end of the year. So check us out, centralcitytoyota.com. Lots of good stuff.
Yep, their entire inventory, and then the sister dealership, Ardmore Toyota, all the inventory's on there too. So you can awesome pre-owned inventory, new inventory, everything they have, centralcitytoyota.com. And and Uncle Jamie's the general manager. So just when you go in, just kick the door open and be like, I want to talk to Uncle Jamie.
There it is. That's what you got to do.
Because Notre Dame didn't cover last week. And I got something to say to him about that. But they did cover last week.
They did cover. Oregon won, but did not cover. We got burned on Oregon last week.
All right. So what do we got? Let's go to game number 1. Uncle Jamie's college football locks of the week. What do you got?
So the first game, what do I have? So you got it pulled up there. What's our first game that we're going to do? We're going to do Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, right? So we got Notre Dame as a going into Pittsburgh, which you and I spoke pre-tape here about the coach Narduzzi at Pittsburgh saying in a press conference that this game's really not important because he's focusing on the ACC. You got probably the biggest program in college football history coming into your stadium. You're a ranked team, 22nd in the nation. Notre Dame's 9th. And you're saying this is not a big game. Okay, I'll take Notre Dame. I'll give the 12.5. That's an easy one.
What a loser mentality. I mean, think of it. If you're a Pitt student, right? And you're like, Notre Dame's coming in, the biggest game of my life. Like you're in school during it.
Yeah.
You're a Pitt fan. And the head coach is saying more or less like, yeah, we're not going to win this. So who cares?
Yeah. And I don't know if you've caught any Pitt action this year. They got a great, their freshman quarterback, Nolan, is just
he's good.
Really good, really good quarterback. So they got a future, man. No one really expected much out of Pitt this year. Good defense. They play well. I think they can give Notre Dame a bit of a game. But Notre Dame just when you watch Notre Dame, you really see the talent on the field. Just Faison on the outside. The defense is so quick to the ball. Great corners. And say what you will. I don't think he's going anywhere. But Marcus Freeman, he's a good coach, man. Good coach.
I'm a fan. All right, game number 2. Alabama, Oklahoma.
Whoa. So this is, as you intimated on your college football bracket there, right? You got an Alabama team that's right now positioned for a bye. You got an Oklahoma team on the razor wire, whether or not they're going to make it or not. So this is it for Oklahoma. Coming in, and you got to come into Tuscaloosa. Alabama is just playing lights out. Ever since the Florida State game, that quarterback, Simpson, has just taken off. Yeah. Between him and the Mendoza from Indiana, they're the 2 Heisman candidates. So it's going to be one of those 2 right now. So it's a tough spot. That Alabama team, I don't think for 1 second, when I watch anything, I read anything, I look at anything, I don't think for 1 second anybody at Alabama likes Kalen DeBoer. But I'll tell you, the guy, since he is 10-1 against other ranked teams, the guy proved it in Washington. He's come down to a most difficult spot, one of the most difficult coaching situations after a guy, Nick Saban, that won all those national championships. and he's done a really good job, and he did a really good job with this quarterback, and it's really helping him out. And let me tell you this, for people watching this game, look for number 74, Kalen Proctor, who is this 6'7", 330-pound offensive lineman that runs like Jordan Davis ran when he blocked that field goal. They put him on offense. They flare him out. Like a receiver. I mean, it looks like a monument out there. I mean, just inventive stuff. I love Alabama in this game. I think they cover easy.
All right, Alabama -5.5 over Oklahoma. I'll be curious. I don't love Oklahoma. I don't love Oklahoma at all. But a little bit of a light line. Oklahoma's like you had said, playing for their college football life.
Yeah,
they lose this game. They're not making the playoff. They win this game. Now they are.
This is it. This is a playoff game for them, no doubt.
Final game, number 3, Uncle Jamie.
Oh, this is a big one, right? This is the primetime game. You got Texas rolling into Athens. I mean, what a tough spot. I thought about this game long and hard, and other than last week when you watch Georgia, they sputter and struggle in the first half. Then they generally turn it on and win by the middle of the third quarter into the fourth quarter is when they turn it on and they win the games. They're 8-1. They really looked great last week. They look strong, but something is telling me that Texas has finally figured out something here. I am a fan of Sarkisian. I'm a fan of his offensive schemes. Arch Manning, I don't know. I mean, he played really well last week. He looked good. When he incorporates running into his game, he's very effective running Sarkisian's offense. Sarkisian runs a lot of that RPO stuff. And I think that's an effective strategy for them. They're not so great on the outside this year. So they need that element of Archie running. Do I believe in Gunnar Stockton in a big moment against Texas at home? I think Texas covers this line. Do I think Texas wins outright? I think it's a field goal either way. But this is a 3-point. This game's got 3 points written all over it. So take Texas and get your 6.5.
All right, Texas plus 6.5. It's kind of I always when you said the game, I'm like, all right, what's that line? Because Georgia's the better team, but they're a similar rank. They're in Athens. Yeah. What's this line? Interesting line. I mean, it's not 4, it's not 5. 6.5 is a decent line. I'm looking forward to this game. This is the 7:30 game on Saturday night.
Yeah. So it comes down to this. It comes down to if you believe Georgia is the second half Georgia or they're that first half team. Georgia has not convinced me this year.
Yeah.
I obviously, Kirby Smart's got a great defense. He's got great scheme. Whenever they come out in the second half, you can tell how well they're coached, right? How well it's communicated their scheme. He's got a great staff. He's Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, generally schemes up stuff. I'm not a believer. I'm not 100% sold on Georgia, and I think Texas has got something here, so enough to make it a 3-point game.
Yeah, I don't like Stockton. I don't like Gunnar Stockton. He is like he's all right. He's all right, but this is a big spot. This is a big spot. This solidifies it for him. Yeah, and Texas needs this one too.
Texas needs this one like air. So
Texas needs this one more than Georgia does at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
All right. Well, so we have Notre Dame minus 12.5, Alabama minus 5.5, and Texas plus 6.5 over the Georgia Bulldogs. They are Uncle Jamie's college football locks of the week. Uncle Jamie, good luck.
All right, and we'll talk next week.
We will be back next week. Remember, subscribe, like, comment on the episode, everything else. Until next week, for Uncle Jamie, I am John Marks. See ya. Thanks for watching Middays with Marks. Like and subscribe right here. If you like and subscribe, you probably are loving what you're watching. There's more of it right here. Check it out.